Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad.
Hello.
If you guys are tuning in for the first time, I'm Angela.
And I am Dan. And if you have tuned in a few times,
You're probably a little confused right now.
might look a little different.
Yeah.
Rearrange the office, reset up kind of our kind of set a little bit. I kind of like how it looks.
Yeah, it looks nice, looks fancy. We've got some books by our lovely Switcher partners and users behind us. We've got all the cool Vine effects. So shout out to Nick and Whitney. They spent most of their weekend setting things up.
Drove up to Cincinnati. It's about an hour and a half drive.
Yeah,
got up there, did a nice little IKEA trip. Came back and put it all together.
Yeah.
Talk about a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess isn't that how the saying goes? If you can put IKEA furniture together, you'll stay together. Is that something?
I like that saying. I hadn't heard that.
Anyways, we should probably hop right into Stream Squad before we get off the rails too much more.
Sure. So this week for our industry, we're continuing our trend of Facebook being the first thing we discuss each week on the show. And this week is no different. So last week, Facebook announced that they are now an exclusive partner with ESL1 Esports. Now, this is a company who hosts a lot of competitions for games like Dota and Counter-Strike Go. And what this exclusive partnership means is they will be streaming the competitions only on Facebook. So Facebook has the exclusive rights for those competition streams. Facebook is also allowing simulcasting to the individual pages of the people competing in the stream. So that way they won't have to do their own setup with Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or anything. Facebook will do all of the work for them. So this is a big announcement. Facebook announced they are still trying to become the new biggest name in video and live video. To do that, they're going to have to unseat YouTube and Twitch, who've always been kind of the top for video game streaming. Facebook has announced that over the course of 2017, they did notice a lot of additional video game streamers coming to the platform. So this is definitely a step in the right direction, partnering with ESL1 Esports to get this exclusive licensing for these competitions. And the first one was just this weekend. They had a Dota competition going on, and it went really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of some of the things we're going to be talking about, some of our other industry news talks about how all these big players are trying to become each other, where Facebook's doing the live video games, which seemed like it was always Twitch.
Yeah.
And now it seems like Twitch might be doing something that resembles YouTube.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and slide into that. So, kind of the way people originally saw the platforms and how some people still see them is that you go to Twitch for live video games, and you go to YouTube for recorded games, whether it's recorded video, whether it's games or another kind of recorded material. YouTube, of course, a few years ago started their own YouTube gaming selection so that they could get some more live streamers. But Twitch is now doing the opposite. Last year in 2017, they opened up people to be able to upload pre-recorded video, whether it was pre-recorded content or just kind of a channel trailer, but there wasn't really much that could be done with it. Well, what Twitch did last week is they announced what they called their video producer tools. And what this does is when you upload a video, you're able to set it as a premiere. Now, what this means is when you upload the video, you get your own individual landing page for the video. So you get to explain what the video is, when you're going to actually show it, and you have to pick a time. You can pick any time within a 30-minute increment to actually have the video play. So you're able to go live and watch it with your audience. Your audience is able to comment. Twitch is advising people to think of it as a movie premiere, and they're also putting out a new popcorn emoji that people can put on their creators' channels to let them know they're enjoying the content as well. Another thing that the video producer tools are bringing are a rerun option. So whether you went live and just streamed right off the bat, whether it's video games or something in real life like cooking or sewing, or you uploaded your video and you've already had the premiere, you're able to schedule a rerun of it. Same thing, you can create a landing page, you can create, any kind of advertisement and countdown you want, and then you're able to watch that content again with your fans. Now, whereas YouTube is big on people searching and being able to find new people to subscribe to, Twitch is going at this a different way. They're trying to make sure that creators who already have subscribers are able to retain those subscribers and make sure the subscribers aren't getting bored or forgetting about the creators that they've subscribed to. So this is about putting out more content for those subscribers to keep them in your fan base. And anyone who used the previous version of this, Vodcast is now gone. It's been replaced by Premiere and Rerun. You can see more information on this. We're going to post the official blog in our comments. Twitch has put out a lot of information on this as well.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's such a cool concept too, where I feel like videos come out on YouTube and everyone's scrambling to type first in the comments or something, and there's no real dialogue around what you're watching or whatever. But this kind of makes it more social and lets you set a time for when the video is going to be live, and then everyone can kind of watch it and discuss it, talk along with it, and you're building that community, which I think is a really cool thing.
Yeah, and how we mentioned where, constantly each week we're talking about Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all the different things they're doing. It's really exciting to see what's happened. If there are any content creators you follow from any of the three platforms, keep an eye out, because in the past few months alone, I've seen a lot of creators not abandoning their original platform, but making themselves known across the board. So people might be doing, more kind of informal live streams on their Facebook page, and then they're uploading their skits or main vlogs onto YouTube, and then they're going live on Twitch and they're playing a game with fans or creating a project with fans. So it's really interesting how all of the platforms are opening up what can be done more and more, and it's bringing those content creators across all the platforms. So that way, everyone's pretty much getting a chance to dip their toes in each platform at this point.
Yeah, just super cool.
Yeah.
Super good. I think one more piece of industry news talking about Apple, and they released, I think it was 11.2.5.
Yeah,
is that the right one?
11.2.5 came out last week. So if you guys haven't already gotten this update, be sure to go into your settings app, click on General, and then click on Software Updates. Now, 11.2.5 brings in support for HomePod, so you'll be able to have direct control from your phone to your HomePod. If anyone uses Siri and also likes using the news apps, you can actually have Siri read the news for you. Now, this is only available for the US, UK, and Australian voices. At this time, they are looking into bringing more voices in the future. But if you're using one of those three English-speaking voices, Siri can read the news to you, which is really cool. Yeah, especially for getting ready in the morning or something. Just put your phone down and you can hear what's been going on. There are also a lot of bug fixes and updates that came through in 11.2.5. One was a big one that was causing crashes and freezing in the Messages app, especially when posting links. So this is helping to stabilize that back out and prevent those crashes. Now this is available for the iPhone 5S and later, the iPad Air and later, and the iPod Touch 6th generation devices. One thing that they've also went on and announced is that they are planning on releasing iOS 11.3 sometime in March. And what this is going to do, of course, we mentioned it on our show, everyone's heard about it, that the older devices do have their processing speed throttled in order to try to retain that battery life since the batteries do degrade. Now, the initial thing that Apple came out with was an option to go and get your battery exchanged for a new one for a very low price at any Apple store. But what 11.3 is also allowing users to do is to choose whether or not you want your processing speed throttled. So you'll be able to toggle that on and off regardless of how your battery currently is. So right now that is in testing by their developers. They're expecting a release of 11.3 around March 2018. We'll announce when that's released. I'm sure there'll be something to pop up on your iOS devices as well when it's ready for download.
Yeah, good thing. I like that they're being transparent about things
Yeah.
and just how it's going on. We can see everything that's happening.
And give you that control where if you need to change it for something you're doing for a split second, now you're going to have that control.
Right. I think it's good too where a lot of people using Switcher Studio are getting extra old phones or something, and they're using those as cameras. So a lot of times those cameras are being plugged in 100% of the time that they're being used. So the battery life isn't as much of a issue when that's the case. So you can disable that and then just use them as those batteries or as cameras.
Just cameras, yeah.
So I think it's good that they're adding that in.
I think so too. And of course, if you guys have, any other questions about 11.2.5 or you've heard anything about the upcoming 11.3, be sure to drop those in our comment section below and we'll be able to get in touch with you guys.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it for some industry news. Should we move right along into our live video strategy?
Sure. So our strategy section, just like last week, we've actually got two pieces of it for you guys. First, we're going to talk about getting followers on your platforms and achieving a good fan base. And then we're going to go into a new Facebook hack for sharing video content.
So I guess the reason I should, this is kind of in the industry news, kind of bringing things together. The reason we're talking about this is recently there was a couple articles that came out where they're talking about like hundreds of thousands of accounts on Twitter being fake and like these rings that are just getting follows for people. And that happens a lot with YouTube and Facebook. There's places out there that you can pay to get these followers, but it's not good stuff, and Angela has some more information about that and how that could actually end up hurting you in the long run. First of all, it's not technically legal, and just it really doesn't help in the long run. So I just wanted to bring that all together. I know I was watching the news a couple days ago, and it was on talking about Twitter and a bunch of fake followers. Like, interesting.
Yeah, like I'm going to go ahead and start with a disclaimer before we kind of get into what this is and how people do it and why it's not actually a good idea. All of the terms and conditions for your social media and video platforms explicitly state that if they catch you buying followers or subscribers, they can terminate your account without any warning. So do keep that in mind. If anything sounds intriguing to you, don't do it. It can actually ruin your account. But essentially what happens, everyone wants to have a large number of followers or a large number of subscribers wherever they're trying to create a fan base. The more fans and subscribers that you have, the more notoriety you're going to get. The problem is there's a lot of services that have popped up in the past few years, and what these services do is they allow you to pay money, sometimes $20, $30, $40, $50, and they will essentially put fake accounts on or convince people to subscribe to you to try to up those counts. Now, two things happen that can, detract from this. A, if it's a fake account, those accounts aren't in use, so you're not going to get any engagement. You're going to have a high number of followers or subscribers, but you're not going to get any engagement because no one's running that account. For the services where you pay money and they have real people follow you, a lot of people have reported that within a matter of a week, half if not more of those people have unfollowed them at that point because they don't want that much clogging up their feed. So essentially you've wasted your money and maybe gotten a handful of what you initially paid for. Now, the other problem with this, going back to the first problem, is that most social media services work on a fraction algorithm. So whether you're talking Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, if they see that you've got a high number of followers or subscribers and a low number of engagement, they're going to promote your work less because their systems are indicating that your content is not basically valuable, that no one is interested in your content. And it might be that your real followers and real subscribers like what you're putting out, but if you've bought 50,000, subscribers or followers and you're getting 10 people to like your photo, that's not good, and they're going to actually promote you less and less, and your chance of getting real followers or real subscribers goes exponentially down at that point. The other problem is it's kind of a state of no return. Once you've done it, you can't force people to unfollow you and unsubscribe from you. So unless you can go through and block every single person you've bought a follow from, you basically just have to start over or accept what's already happened. So instead of taking this route and losing money, losing your engagement, the best things to do are put out content that's, good content, high quality content that you would want to watch. The second thing is make sure that you have a posting schedule. Even if you can't mark in this day, this day, this day each week, let people know, hey, I'll do a video 3 times a week, or I'll upload a photo 5 times a week. And that keeps people knowing that you're active and that they can expect your content. If you go for periods of time without posting anything new, that's when you normally start losing followers and subscribers. Just for me personally, if I don't post on Instagram for a few days or don't put up a YouTube video once a week, I notice my numbers have dropped because people get bored if you don't give them new content. Another big thing that can help is remember to engage with other people. That's why we love, the Switcher Studio Enthusiast Group, which we'll get into in a bit, where other content creators can learn about each other and interact with each other. The easiest way on any platform to get new, followers and subscribers is to comment on other people's work and make it a genuine comment, not just good job. Show them that you actually enjoyed their content, you noticed what it was about, and put something on there. A lot of people will at a minimum check out your page and they might give you a subscribe back. Other people who've commented might also check out your content for that as well. So again, those are some of the big tips that we have. It sucks when people do lose mass numbers of followers for these. Anytime there's a purge like Twitter had, Instagram had one about 6 months ago, you'll see your numbers drop. Try not to let that bother you because those were basically spam accounts, right, bot accounts that weren't doing you any good anyway. But, make sure to actually go out there, meet people in your community, whether it's in person or online, advertise on your social media pages. It'll be slower than buying what you need overnight, but you'll get the actual authentic engagement that you need, and that's going to build your channel faster than anything.
Yeah, that's really, really good information. Mm-hmm. And one of the big things we preach is creating that really high quality content. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's one of the reasons we're here using Switcher Studio and adding the multiple cameras and adding graphics and all that stuff just to help the engagement. But just going along with that is, we've talked about it before on the show, things like what to do with your video after you're done. So once you're done with it, that doesn't have to be the end of the video. You can still share that out to people. If you go live on Facebook, share it out to YouTube, or maybe cut up a segment and send it out to Twitter, something like that. The options are endless. Something recently that I just learned when we were setting up for this show on Monday is when you might have noticed if you're sharing a YouTube link and you do the right click and it'll say copy video URL at this time code. I always thought that was a great idea. So if there was a bunch of nothing in the beginning, or if you were doing something live and you kind of had maybe one funny part halfway through or something that you wanted people to share, you couldn't really find that time code on Facebook. Well, yeah. Now it's there. I saw it there when I was trying to copy the link for our hashtag Made with Switcher that we're going to get to later. And it's just as simple as going to the video you want to share, going to the time code, and then you can do a right click and show video URL and save it at that time code. And just like that, you can kind of cut out a bunch of intro stuff if you wanted to do that, or just just find a single spot that you want to share out to your followers.
Yeah, and that's something as simple as saying, things got crazy on our last live broadcast. Check out this moment, paste it with that time code. That's going to get people engaged right off the bat, because they're going to see exactly what you were intending them to see, instead of having to go through that intro and welcome to the show and all of that someone who hasn't previously watched your broadcast might not be as interested in.
Awesome. Well, that is great for the live video strategy. I see a ton of comments coming through here. Thank you, everybody who's out there watching and commenting.
Yeah, thanks,
I
guys.
see a lot of stuff for feature requests in there and some things like that. What I would recommend doing is checking out our. Well, I guess we'll get into the user group here right now, because what Angela and I have been doing we just started last week in that group, is we're doing a webinar there. So that's going to be at 4 p.m. today, and if you want to check that out, we can cover out a use switcher from the top to bottom and answer any of those kind of support questions there.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not in, the Eastern time zone, that'll start in about hour 45 minutes from now, something around that. So coming up soon, it will be archived on there where you guys can check it out after the stream as well, if you are going to be busy while it's live. But, our user group, we love it. We mentioned earlier, it's a great way to meet other Switcher Studio users. Whether you're thinking about using Switcher Studio and just want to know more, whether you're on a trial, or whether you're already subscribed to the services, anyone is welcome to join and get that information and meet new people. Now, there are 3 ways to get access to the group. You can either type in Switcher Studio Enthusiast in your Facebook search bar and join that way. If you're watching this on the Switcher Studio Facebook page right now, you can click on Groups in the upper left menu corner, and you can get taken to the group that way. Or if you're logged into your dashboard at switcherstudio.com, click on Join the Community, and that'll take you there as well. Now, once you do either of those 3 options, fill out a short survey, and then you'll get full access into the group. As Dan says, after you're in the group, click on Events. That's where you can watch your webinars. You can also learn tips and tricks from other users, and you can share your content a little bit about how you made it. But what we like to do each week is to take a look at, what was a question that stood out to us in the user group, or what was a frequently asked question in the user group, and kind of just answer it on the show to let you guys know, what that question was and what the solution is. This week we had a question on what happens if your internet cuts out while you're live. So this isn't a specific thing on, your network overall needs some work on it, but mainly what happens if there's a glitch in your router, or the power resets all of a sudden and you lose connection.
Or you just have too many people connected at the same time.
Yeah, someone loads up Netflix in the background. Yeah, so, when that happens with Switcher Studio, you'll know it immediately. You'll get a pop-up on your screen for the main switching device that says Broadcast Interrupted, and it'll give you an option to basically end what you're doing, or it'll give you the option to continue recording. And so I'm going to explain really quick the difference between those two, and there are different ways they can be used depending on what you need. Now, if the recording is the most important to you, especially if you're using director mode and the live broadcast was just kind of a bonus, but that's not the main thing you're going for, go ahead and hit continue recording. What that's going to do is leave your recording fully intact, ready to go. When you're done and you hit stop, that recording's going to be there in full, even though your broadcast did disconnect. Now, in the reverse, if the live broadcast is the main thing you're looking for, especially if this is an advertised event, or something like a church service or a concert that people are needing to see at home, this is more of a matter of time. So as soon as you see that pop up, quickly choose to stop the recording in full and go ahead and hit record and broadcast in the top corner again. Now, people watching at home are going to get, maybe a couple of seconds of lag, but it's going to start back up on that same live event. When you do that on Facebook or YouTube, as long as you start it back up, within about 30 to 60 seconds, it'll continue on that same event. So again, just a little bit of lag, kind of a small freeze, and then it'll start back up where you left off. And your archived version after your stream will show that as well. Now, your recording is going to be in two segments at that point. You're going to have what happened before the internet dropped and what happened afterwards. If you do need that recording, just bring both of those components into any video editing software, put them together, render it out. Again, you're going to have that kind of split where the connection did drop, but you will still have that full video content as well.
Yeah, that's there's really two ways to look at this, as Angel was saying, is when something like that happens, is the live more important or is the recording more important? Because obviously if you tap the stop broadcast and recording and then tap start recording again, you're going to lose maybe 1 to 3 seconds of that video. So normally if that happens to us, I'll just do a crossfade in an editor and it ends up looking just fine. You know, you might lose a couple seconds of audio, but it's okay. Of course, if the main goal is to get a really, really good recording, you can't do that, so you might have to forego the streaming. Hopefully it happens towards the end of an event, so you might just lose a little bit at the end there or something. But those are the big questions that you have to ask when something like that happens.
Yeah, and the main things to remember, of course, if you're just getting started, we do have a list of the recommended settings for wireless streaming in our knowledge base, which you can get to at switcherstudio.com by clicking on Help at the top. You can also send us an email at support@switcherstudio.com. Just let us know, hey, I need to know what networking settings are appropriate, and we can send those to you. These are great for everyone, not just people using Switcher Studio, so they're definitely good to fine-tune your wireless connection to. Now, other things to watch out for, again, make sure if you've done a test run on, let's say, a Tuesday at 9 a.m. and your event's going to be on a Friday at 9 p.m., the crowded event, there's going to be differences in how the connection is. So try to do your test at the same time that your event's going to be, and that way you can fine-tune your connection settings that way as well. And kind of what we mentioned before, make sure that anything that can be taken off of your network in advance is taken off. If someone's in the background and they're streaming YouTube or Netflix, or they're trying to upload a video to YouTube or anything like that, ask them to either hold off on it until you're done or see if there's another network they can connect to or if they can use data. The more things you have off of your network, the lower chance you have of experiencing an interruption in your broadcast.
Yeah, I see in the comments here, I see Tim, the video guy, said that's what he does, the stop and start, and Hot Rock as well. He said it dropped out a couple times on him, but was able to hop right back in. So yeah, the big good thing about that is being able to stream to that same event and not having to, because that's where everybody's watching right now. So if you start a new one, you might lose some of those viewers. So that's kind of the big benefit of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess one thing before we get into I guess this can be kind of a transition into the hashtag Made with Switcher segment here, but we didn't really talk about this, but I was thinking about while we were live here. One of our users in the user group, his name is Anthony, he had an article he wrote a while back for streaming media producer, and he was using Switcher Studio and talks about it some there. And that actually ended up, I guess, being in a print magazine or something, so it's kind of cool. He just posted that in our user group today, talking about how it's now in print, so I thought that was cool.
Awesome.
If anyone wants to check out that article, I can link that here for people.
Yeah, congrats, Anthony. And anyone else who does any kind of write-ups or video walkthroughs about Switcher Studio, especially how you use Switcher Studio at a specific event you did, feel free to share those with us. The easiest way is posting those in the user group, but we love seeing those, reading about them, and seeing how you guys are using Switcher.
Yeah. So, Angela, as we transition here, I'm going to change our little lower third to the Hashtag made with Switcher. I'm going to let you talk about this one because this is something that's near and dear to Angela here.
It is. So the hashtag made with Switcher, this kind of goes along with sharing what you've created with Switcher Studio. Each week we like to share one video that stuck out to us that was really well done and was made using Switcher Studio. This week is a video from Cosplay Channel. So you can search on Facebook for Cosplay Channel. We've been talking to the main guy in charge, Ryan Tay, for a few months now, helping him get set up and seeing other things he's done. But this was a broadcast that just happened Monday night. Now, Ryan is together with the rest of his group. They're all in cosplay right now. So you've got like Ariel and Eric. I think Harley Quinn was in this video. But they're all talking about how they got started with cosplay, what they like about cosplay, and what they like about anime and gaming conventions. If any of you guys out there have no idea what I'm talking about or what they're doing, it's basically, you know, just creating costumes based on different video game characters or Japanese animated characters. If any of you guys noticed that my voice is a little squeaky today. Ironically, I was actually at a convention this past weekend doing cosplay. So as Dan said, this is near and dear to me. I was definitely glad to see Ryan post this in our user group. And, you know, we definitely wanted to share that with you guys. So we'll put a link to their video in the comments. You know, it's a great kind of overlook at the cosplay community, and it's also a great example of what can be done with Switcher.
We actually have some great pictures of...
Dave's got some pictures of me.
Yeah, Angela made the mistake of sending me some pictures. So there's Angela's two outfits. I think one of them was...
one was Earth-chan, the new meme that's taken the internet by storm, and the other is the Decker specialist from Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4, the video games.
I think the sweet dubstep gun.
Yeah, I've got my dubstep gun.
She was explaining it all to me earlier.
eBay, $40.
So, yeah, when we saw that come through, my first thought was, oh, we need to share this with Angela.
Yeah,
have Angela see this video.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, for making this video. And again, anyone else, regardless of what kind of content you're making, it doesn't have to be, you know, just one thing. We like to showcase all different kinds of videos on the show. You know, make sure to share those in our user group, and that's the easiest way for us to see them. If you're sharing them on Instagram or Twitter or any other social media platform, use the hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. We do look through that tag, we do review the videos, and you know, we will select one of those videos each week to be on Stream Squad.
Yeah, my comments here are a little backed up, but I can look through and maybe we can answer a few of these questions here before we get out. Again, I see a lot of kind of feature requests and things like that. We will be doing a webinar on the Switcher Studio Enthusiast group today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's about an hour and a half. If you want to check that out, get set up and going with Switcher Studio right off the bat. That's a really good spot to start. Let me see, just answer a few right now. I see someone asking why they can't transmit to Periscope. You actually can do that. You're going to have to use the custom RTMP. We have a video on YouTube, and I think there's, if you search Switcher Studio Periscope,
it should be the top.
It should be right there at the top. So definitely check that out. I see people looking for Android stuff. Unfortunately, we're just iOS. No news on an audio bus solution. I saw that back there a little bit. Again, love to answer every question that we have here right now, but I think we are just about out of time. Like I said, I really encourage anybody who's looking to try Switcher Studio or give it a try to go ahead and sign up for that, or join the user group, and you can sign up for that. It's an event in there. I just posted it earlier today, so it should be towards the top, and you'll be able to join that, and we'll be streaming there in about an hour and a half. Yeah, and I'll be keeping an eye on the user group. So again, normally when you request to join, your entry is granted within about 12 to 24 hours. Since we do have the webinar coming up in an hour and a half, I will have that tab up, so your entry time will be between about 1 and 10 minutes up until 4. Just make sure to get in the user group, but before we
we go live for the webinar at 4, and you'll be able to watch the entire thing. If you're busy at that time, or if you join the user group after that point, you'll still be able to see the archived version of that webinar.
Or you can try and catch the next one, which is will be the
next week.
Following week. And something else I'd like to know, for those of you, and I'll probably mention this tonight on the webinar as well, but if there's someone out there who really wants to see one of these webinars, but you're not able to make it at that time, what are some other good times that you all are watching video, or that would be a good time for you to watch a webinar? Because we're open to things, you know. If there's another time that works better, I'm sure we can figure that out and set something up for that as well.
Yeah, post your time range that you'd prefer, you know, just add in what time zone you're in to go along with that time, so we can see how it relates to our time zone, you know, and we'll definitely take a look and see what we can do.
All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for Stream Squad this week. I hope you enjoyed our show. I hope you like the new setup we have.
Yeah.
I've actually got, let's cut to this.
Oh, the full version,
that we had this out there. It's got the full everything going. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. Angela, thank you so much.
Thank you,
you
Dan.
all for tuning in, and we will see you same place, same time next week.
See you guys.